Hey guys, I'm Max115. I'm bringing you guys back another episode of Boom Beach, pushing into the leaderboards. Tonight I wanted to mention how tough it has been the last 2 days to really push. It has been absolutely brutal. I've been getting bases on my mat that I really just cannot beat. I have tried over and over with all kinds of truth comp, all kinds of strategies, and you know what? When you're just having an off day like yesterday and today, it has just been absolutely brutal, very demoralizing, very difficult. I've got bases like this one where I've gotten to the point that I can't even attack anymore. And some of these bases I don't even want to try because they're just so deadly. However, that's not to say that I didn't get a few really good wins today, which is exactly what I kind of lifted up myself to want to share some of these stuff with you, because a couple of these were absolutely really good attacks. Before we get started, I wanted to mention last night, I hate myself for this, but I went to bed, I forgot to reboost my eyes, so my eyes ran out of boost overnight when I was sleeping. So when I woke up, I got rated 6 freaking times, and I was so upset about it. There was no need for me to have lost 6 times by these people, but I mean, they just got lucky. They were able to catch my base, without the boost. So upsetting, man. So pissed at myself. But anyhow, we have some really good attacks. See, you can tell how difficult it has been for me tonight. Look at how many times I've tried these bases. I mean, a lot of these were just gunboat energy, but I did try so many times on these bases. This one I did get eventually. So let's take a look. This was heavy zuka, 4 offensive statues, all 4 of them boosted. It had 5 eyes? I think it was, or 4 eyes. Oh, 4 eyes. 4 eye statues, all 4 of them boosted. This was actually a pretty good attack. I tried to do it with RZCM first, but it didn't work, so I thought Heavy Zuka might do the job. And if you're still trying to learn how to smoke Heavy Zuka, this is a really good example. Notice how I put all the flags in the middle, and then once they walk towards the flags, I threw the flare, and look how nice and neat they're starting to walk in there. I visualized my walking path, of course, to make sure I knew where my troops were going to walk. But then, as you saw before, it did take me many tries to get it just right. But this part was the easy one. Walking was the easiest part, all the way to the back. Throw a reflare as soon as the first flare was about to run out, and then went straight for the shield. I had to shock that flamethrower on the left side because that thing was killing my Zukas. I chose to smoke all the way up there because my Zukas will be out of range from that rocket launcher. You can see the rocket launcher is targeting the heavies, but not the Zukas, which was really nice. I needed to get a few extra gunboat energy because I spent so much on smokes already. But once I got enough, I threw a flare, threw some smokes, needed to cover those Zukas, and right on time because that shot launcher did get me. But I still have a good amount of Zukas, about 4 heavies left, but 2 of those heavies have like no health. And I had just enough to throw, I think, a flare, critters, and 1 shot. So there goes the flare, critters, 1 shot right on the shot launcher. And look at how red my Zukas were. I didn't have enough for a med kit. I was just relying on time and a little bit of luck, and I eventually did get that HQ. And that sucker went down, but look, I almost lost every single one of my Zukas in there. That was a really tough base, but I was happy. It's really difficult when you have to like smoke up to one area, try to take out some of the buildings, and then smoke again. And you just don't have the gunboat energy, especially with just 1 gunboat energy masterpiece. So I was pretty proud of that one. Right after that, switched to RZCM, and some of these attacks were actually very nice, in my opinion. This base had like 7 eye statues. He had a crap ton of eyes. Not all of it was boosted. I think only 3 or 4 of the 7 were boosted, but come on, that's still a lot. It still took me 1 barrage and 3 artillery shells to take down 1 rocket launcher. And then I did 2 barrage, 1 artillery on the second rocket launcher up there. The only good thing, no, he didn't have a lot of eyes. So I wanted to attack from the corner. This is usually my first attack strategy for corner bases. Attack from the other end of the corner. So I smoked all my troops. I wanted them to, just come out of that smoke, just guns blazing. Threw some critters because there were some mines behind that sniper tower. And right there, it just let my troops really spread out. At this point, I only had 2 boats of Zuka. So 3 rifles, 2 Zukas, 2 medics, and 1 boat of Cryoneer. Yeah, so I threw some critters right there just to distract the mortar because it was shooting at my troops. I also wanted to distract the boom cannon, which didn't really work out well. But anyway, mainly to distract the shot launcher. You can see the shot launcher is already targeting the little critters, and then I threw a shock. So that really helped. I guess that pack of critters did actually come in handy. I don't like flamethrowers when I'm using RZM, but luckily I was able to shock that one flamethrower with the shot launcher at the same time. See how far my troops are already spread out. Some of them are all the way at the top, going for that machine gun at the very top, and some at the very bottom down here. Everything was super spread out. My original plan was to get enough defenses so I could, smoke back to the left, but you have to improvise sometimes midway through the attack. And that's exactly what I did. Because I was looking at the progress of my troops, I'm like, oh, they're actually not doing way too bad. A couple of those Zukas were going for that shield in the top, so I was like, there's no point in reflaring at this point. I needed to just take down the shock launcher, the shock blaster first. Actually, that thing was so deadly. But I was getting a pretty good amount of gunboat energy, so there I was able to shock the mortar and the flamethrower, along with the boom cannon and shot launcher all together. So whenever you can shock 4 or more defenses with one shock, that's a really well spent shot. Then I got lucky enough to get enough for a pack of critters, because the critters really did distract that shot launcher, and you can see how that shot launcher was fixated on the critters, and my Zukas were free to shoot and take down that HQ. Also lucky that some of my Zukas were able to take down the shield generator itself, because if that shield was still standing, I don't think it could have beaten. But yeah, to my surprise, it worked out really well against Jupiter. Then we have FevZ09 space at 1434. This one was a doozy, a beast of a base. Look at this sucker. 7 ice statues, all 7 of them boosted. This is, I think, my first full-on 7 boosted ice statue takedown with RZCM. First time. It did took me a few tries, of course, but there were some big flaws in this type of base. It was a double center base with 2 shields on the 2 sides, but it was pushed all the way to the back. So that kind of gave me a lot of time to gather my troops. Look at my troops walking all the way to the flags. I put the Zukas first because every time I put the rifles first, the rifles would walk just so fast, and then the Zukas would trail way behind. So I put the Zukas first, and the rifles actually did catch up and pass the Zuka, so that worked out really well. For this particular attack, I used only 1 boat of medics, and I went with 3 boats of Zukas, because the first 2 times I just didn't have enough firepower because there was so much ice involved in here. So I decided to sacrifice 1 boat of medic and go with more Zukas. So, and even then it still took me like 2 more tries. But right there, I smoked my troops to the blind spot of that rocket launcher. Throw some critters to distract the shot launcher. I really had to time it right to the nail, and then throw the shock right on top of that mortar and flamethrower, because those things were just super deadly, especially with so much boosted ice. So through a second pack of critters, that shot launcher was just turning all over the place. It didn't know where to shoot, so that worked out really well for me. And then I shot the 2 mortars and the flamethrower, and then at this point I didn't really like that so many of my rifles were all the way down there, but you know what, you cannot reflare when you attack a base like this, and I've said it so many times, reflaring sometimes is worse for you. You kind of want your troops to spread out, and you'll see why again in a second. So you can see a big chunk of Zukas are already parked in there. I threw some critters because mortars and boom cannons will take forever to take down 1 group of critters there. So you can see how my troops on the bottom are already wrapping around, and that really worked out because some of the defenses down here started to focus on the troops on the bottom rather than the ones in the top. And look at all those Zukas. That's exactly why I needed to bring that extra 3rd boat of Zuka to just blast down at the HQ. So this is probably one of the best attacks I've ever done in all the times I've been playing Boom Beach. I'm super proud of it. I'm super happy of it. It actually didn't take me that many tries. It took me maybe like 7 or 8 tries. At least that in my head, that doesn't sound like a lot. I mean, for someone who pretty much on every single night I get that message like, you can't attack anymore because you've attacked too many times. Getting a base down like that in 8 tries is actually pretty good. Actually, not even. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tries it only took me. So that just tells you that particular base layout was really flawed. Come on, he has 7 boosted ice statues. So in fact, this one, Eon, the one that I can't attack anymore, this base only have 4 ice statues. 4, and I couldn't do it. So that tells you that his base was actually much more well laid out. And shame to me because it was only a single shield with a shock blaster with only 4 boosted ice. And I'm not going to pass him tomorrow. I'm definitely going to take him down. But anyhow, that's how things work in this game sometimes. And then the last base, this was also a pretty nice bit. I mean, not as good as the previous one because he had less ice, but still. This one also did have, I think it was 7 ice. I mean, it's all hidden behind the trees right there. Yeah, I think it was 7 ice, but only 5 out of the 7 were boosted. So, I mean, that's still a lot of boosts. So 5 boosted statues plus 2 regular non-boosted. Corner base, the funny thing, he had a hot pot, which is it's probably the first time I see a hot pot at this level. But anyhow, same as before, took down the 2 rocket launchers from the sides. And again, went for the corner, starting the base on the very corner next to that sniper tower there. So in this particular raid, I also went, with the same troops that I had before. So 3 boats of Zukas, 3 boats of rifles. I did do it with 2 boats of Zukas before, and again, it wasn't enough firepower. So only 1 boat of medics, to out-heal that rocket launcher. And you can see how much damage that rocket launcher was doing on my rifles. A ton. Threw some critters right in the middle of that rocket launcher. That was to distract the 2 shot launchers, because those shot launchers, with 2 shots, they would just kill my Zukas. So throw more critters. I needed to keep those 2 things subdued as much as I could. The good thing is that there was no shot, like a laser beam or a shock blaster shooting at me at this time. If there was one of those, there's no way I could have taken the base. But since the hot pot's range is so short, I was able to pull it off. So right there, let my troops spread out. Again, do not reflare. Just try to... I threw smokes on those flamethrowers because, I didn't want to shock the flamethrowers. I just don't have that kind of gunboat energy. But I still had a pretty amount of Zukas left. Once I took down the 2 shot launchers, then I flared all the way to the back. And I had, you can tell I had a big chunk of, right there we can see the statues. Actually, I hadn't noticed. So 2, 4, 6. Oh, he has 6 boosted ice? Wow. No, he has 7 ice. This is my Oh, wow. 7 ice statues. I thought he had less. I went in blind. I didn't even scout the base. Wow. I can't believe I took down 2 bases with 7 ice statues. Crazy. That's what I'm going to put in the thumbnail of this particular. 7 ice statues boosted or something like that. Anyhow, troops moving in. I was saving gunboat energy, if you notice, for shocks. So I hadn't used many shocks before. So I was saving it for the hot pot because on the previous attempt, the second that hot pot came out, decimated all my troops. So right there, threw the shock as early as I could. I think I lost all of my rifles. I was stuck with only Zukas, but I had a good chunk of Zukas, which was good. And then it was only down to the single shooter, the boom cannon, and the, what do you call that thing, the sniper tower. So right there, my Zuka stepped on a shot mine. I was just, about to cry at this point. I'm like, oh my god, that boom cannon is just gonna cream all of my troops. I had nothing left. I had like 5 or 6 Zukas. That boom cannon was still picking up them. I was like, please God, let that boom cannon focus on my medics. But then no, that thing turned around and started killing my Zukas. But to my big surprise, and I got a little bit lucky. I have to admit, I got lucky, and this guy, all he has to do is just move that boom cannon up a little bit more. Because that boom cannon stopped shooting at my Zukas, and then I ended up with like 4 Zukas shooting at the HQ. Look at that. And I rubbed it in with 2 smokes. I can't believe this base had 7 ice statues. I just did not know that. I thought it had like, 5 only. Or wow, 7 boosted ice, 2 in a row. And this base didn't even take me that many tries either. Look at that, 2 tries. And this one took me 5 tries. Oh my god. Alright, you know what? That actually made my day because I was so frustrated tonight and I was having such a hard time with the first base here, Eon, which was just so difficult. Maybe I had to get myself warmed up anyways. Anyhow, we're sitting at 1,548 victory points. I don't know what I had yesterday. I completely forgot. I still hate myself for losing those 6 times because of my ice boost running out. But anyhow, as far as global, we're sitting at 29 global. Not bad. So 29 in the world, 28 more people on top of us. Let's see how much higher we can get. But as the higher I get, you have to realize the gap is getting bigger and bigger in victory points. The next guy is only 1 victory point above me, but after that, from 49, there's a 15 or 16 victory point ahead, and then 70s, 80s, 90s, and then there's the big one, 1600s and 1625. So every player after that has about a 20 victory point lead on the next guy. So 20 victory points is a lot. At this level, I'm lucky if I can gain like 5 victory points in one day. Lucky. And if not, I'll just break even. And on unlucky days, I'll actually lose victory points. So it really depends. And then, of course, the top players were like 2,000. Crazy. I don't know if I'll ever make it that high. But you know what? We're going to give it a try. I am training TRM because there's still a couple of bases in here. So hopefully I can take at least one more base. You know, who knows? But I'm really happy with those last two. And just watching the replays just now, it made my night. So you know what? I'm going to end the video right there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Max2015, and please stay tuned for next more Boom Beach videos. Good night, guys. Bye.